All right, so number one on your starter, it says the scatter plot shows the days X of practice and the numbers Y of free throws made during practice. So here's my picture. So letter A, how many free throws were made on day 5 of practice? So all you have to do is look at your picture. Look for day 5, find your dot, and then you can answer. Does anyone think they know? What do we think? Tessa? 6. Okay, so we have day 5. Days are on the bottom. So day 5, we're counting by ones. I'm looking for the dot. Just be careful here because you're not counting by ones. You're counting by, it looks like twos. So yes, Tessa is right. 6 throws. Free throws. Not too bad. Okay, letter B. On which day were 5 free throws made? So look at your picture. Look for where 5 free throws would have been. Nadia, what do you think? 6. Do you see how free throws are here? So 5 is between the 4 and the 6. Where's the dot? Right here. And where does it correlate to? Day 6. So day 6. Okay. Now let's do, this one. This is not the annoying part yet. Okay. Let's do the next one. The table shows savings Y in dollars over time X in months. Make a scatter plot of the data. Tell the type of correlation, if any, that the data show. So let's make a scatter plot. You don't have graph paper, so let's just sketch it out. Okay, so here's my X and Y axis. I have to label, so take a look at what you're doing. So what is my X word here? So like read the problem. Months. Okay, so I have months. And it looks like when I look at my X's, I'm going just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm counting by ones. Okay, my Y, what is my Y word? Savings, so dollars. And I have to go all the way up to 20. I start from 10. What do you guys think? What do you want to count by? 2s, sure. If you don't want to count by 2s, you can count by 5s, you can count by 3s, you can count by 4s. You can really count by 1s if you wanted to, but you would just be way up there. It's your choice, okay? So someone said 2, so let's just count by 2. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. But you can count by whatever you want. It's your call. Okay. So now let's plot the data. So I have like 1, 20. So 1, 20, draw a dot, and then keep on going. So just do it for all of them. Okay, so hopefully you made a sketch that looks something like this. It doesn't have to look exactly like this, right? Because maybe you counted by something else and it's just a sketch. We don't have graph paper. So none of our things are exact, but it says, tell the type of correlation that the data shows. So look at your dots and look at the direction that they're headed. So remember, you have positive, your dots are going up. Negative, your dots are going down. Or no, your dots are going everywhere. So does someone think they know what type of correlation do you see here? 3. Do you see how your dots are going down? So yeah, like even though this one is going up and then down again, that's okay. For the most part, my dots are going down. So I would say, yes, I have negative correlation. My dots are going down. So positive correlation means my dots are going up. Negative correlation means my dots are going down. No correlation means my dots are everywhere. All right. This one is the really, really annoying one. Write an equation that models y as a function of x. All right, so my final answer is going to be y equals blank x plus blank. Now, all of us are going to have different answers, okay? I want to tell you that right now. All of you are going to have different answers. So this is what you would do. I'm going to, because I don't have a ruler, I'm going to take the side of my calculator cover and use that as a ruler, okay? I need to draw a line, like it's called a trend line, okay? So it's going to be a line that I feel like maybe depicts what these dots look like. So I'm not going to just connect my dots. I'm going to just draw a line that I feel like kind of encompasses all the points. So I'm going to say, all right, well, like this. Like that's going to be my line. Your line might be slightly different. So that's why we're going to have maybe different answers. Okay. At this point, the only thing that I need you to realize when you draw this trend line is just try to have about half of your dots above and about half of your dots below. You don't want like your line like, so for example, this is what I mean. If you have, dot, 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 dot. If you draw your trend line like that, that's a terrible trend line, right? Because all of the line is below the dots. If you draw a trend line like this, that's also a terrible trend line because all the dots are below. You kind of want it even. Even if you draw it like that, well, that's not really good either, right? Because it's not really even. You kind of want to make sure that like your dots are evenly placed along that line, even if it's not touching the line. Something similar to that. Okay, now all of us kind of have to, I guess, have different answers now. We're kind of going down a different path, okay? But this is what you do. How you get your slope, remember, is you're going to do like y sub 2 minus y sub 1. Well, where are your points? Your points are going to be whatever point you think is closest to your line. Try to make the points far apart so that gives you a better idea. Like, so for me, this point right here was pretty close to my line, and I would say this point is pretty close to my line. So I'm going to personally choose those 2 points. I don't know which 2 you want to choose. You look at your line and you figure out what's closest to your line, and then you go ahead and write those 2 points down. So once you've written those 2 points down, that's where you're going to calculate the slope. So your slope, remember, would just be y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. So I personally got -2. -2 makes sense. I mean, my line's going down, so it has to be negative, right? But your answer might not be -2. Your answer might be somewhere around -2. Hopefully it's negative. It should definitely be negative and not positive. Maybe -1 you got, -1.7, -2.4, something close to -2. Okay, now here's the hard part, but we have been doing this, I think now for like the 4th or 5th day in a row. So you should know how to do this, okay? I got -2 as my slope. I need to figure out B. So does anyone remember, how do I figure out B? What do I have to do? Rowan?
Plug in one of your coordinates.
Okay, so plug in one of the coordinates that were that I chose out of these 2. Okay, because here's the thing, I don't know what B is. B is way up here. It's like 20 something. I don't even know. My graph doesn't even go that high. So I'm going to say I have y equals my slope, which is for me -2. But for you, I don't know what it would be. X plus B. I'm going to choose one of my points that I use for the slope. So I'm just going to choose the first one, I don't know, and then plug that in as my X and my Y, and then solve for B that way. And you're probably going to have a different answer than me because you're probably going to choose a different point than me. I personally got 22. That kind of makes sense for me. I know it's going to be 20 something right up here. So that makes sense for me. Okay. But for you, it should make sense with your picture. But that's how you're going to do it. So for this problem, all of us are probably going to get different answers for that. Okay. Any questions? That's essentially what we're doing.